How are you doing, Marlene?
Okay, and you?
Oh, pretty good. Had a little break from we had that one week with so many meetings. We had a little break last week, which was nice.
It was like a vacation.
It felt like a vacation. It was really sad, but it literally felt like a vacation.
It did.
God bless you guys, because it's nearly every night, right?
Yeah, it
I
can
mean, at
be.
certain
Yeah,
times of the month.
it's exhausting.
Yeah, I bet it is. I mean, it exhausts me doing it once a month.
Yeah. Tom, you get a sense of who's able to come tonight? I know John's not coming.
Right. And I really don't, because I just haven't gotten any emails. I'll cross my fingers that we have a quorum.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that there's anything of terribly pressing concern on the agenda.
And I do, if we need to look at any of those demo delay applications, I have them queued up so we could look at them.
I have those queued up too
Okay.
on my computer. I don't know how to show them to anybody else. I'm sure you can do it. I just don't know how.
Yeah, well, I can walk you through it if we want to do that, but.
Oh no, I'll let you do it. As long as I can see them.
Yeah, it's better. Ignorance is bliss. You don't really want to know how to do that stuff because then
Here's the thing. My brain can hold only so much at one time. And I'm not a young man anymore. One thing I didn't see, and maybe you have, are the old minutes. I don't see those.
Well, if they didn't get sent to you, I'm not sure whether they were sent or not. If they weren't, then unfortunately you're probably gonna have to punt again.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I can pull them up if we need to.
Okay. Yeah, that 722 Durham Road is interesting because it just missed the last meeting. So now, if we wanted to do anything, which I don't think I do personally, we only have like 4 or 5 days to do it because of the timing, you know. But the other ones are all pretty recent.
Eric.
Dave,
Eric, how you doing?
I'm okay. Are you safe?
I'm safe. I'm doubly vaccinated. So is my wife. I'm actually going inside houses to do appraisals again.
Oh, wow.
I didn't for a whole year. I hardly went in any houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Fannie Mae allowed this thing called desktop appraisals, so that I just did them from here, kind of.
Yeah. Do you have any sense in terms of percentage-wise what the COVID impact has been locally in terms of appraised value?
Yeah, it really depends on price range.
Yeah.
But there's no question that it's up across the board.
Yeah.
You know, at the higher reaches, it's much harder to determine because there's never enough data to really make a good decision. But in the like 200 to say $600,000 price range, there's no question that it's substantially up.
Yeah, it's been my impression too, but I haven't seen any data to tell me a percentage or anything.
Yeah, there was New York Times actually had something that said 17%, and I said, where did they get that? And then I looked. What they did was take a look at every sale in the town a year ago, and then every sale in the town this year, and it did come up to a 70% increase. But I think that's a misleading number because it really changes by price range.
Right, right.
You know, so you have a couple $4 million sales, and that kind of skews the data.
Right. At the same token, when I looked at the data, you also have the Dutch Village stuff that sells, and sometimes that skews the data too. So
right, it should, and really those kind of things, the high and the low, if you get them out of there, you're going to get a much better picture of what's going on.
Right.
But even with all that, there's no question that there's been some increase.
Yeah.
I mean, a substantial increase. Well, there's no supply.
No, that's right.
That's the issue. Yeah. So I'd sell my house if there was a house to move into.
Yeah, a lot of people are in that same boat. Yeah, because you're going to pay a premium to wherever you go too.
That's right. That's right. And like an entry level, and a Madison entry level is like in the fours.
Right.
Those are the ones that are in terribly short supply.
Right.
And those are the ones that are gonna be the hardest to find, you know. Hi, Susan.
Hello, everybody.
Now we just need one more, I think.
Yeah, we haven't had anybody replace Eileen yet, right? I don't believe so.
No, I was gonna bring that up tonight, just to, if anybody had an
Oh,
idea.
Actually, I asked Erin McGovern, the woman who moved into the Banish's house. She's very interested, and she was going to call me. Honestly, they have, I'm sure, Tom, you know, when you go by their house, they have 4 sets of people working on
Oh,
that
gotcha.
house all day long.
Yeah,
So
they're a
I'll
little
try to
busy.
get her tomorrow.
No, that's great. We certainly need to fill that spot. The other thing is, I don't know, I have to look at the thing to see who are alternates and who are, you know, main members. Because if an alternate wants to move up to be a regular member, now would be the time to do it. Hi, Carol.
Hi.
You know what I mean by that?
Yep.
That's how I did that, you know, a long time ago, but it probably is a good idea if you want to think about it. I think we have 4. I think we can go here. What do you think?
Oh, go for it.
Okay. So, I'm going to call to order the meeting, the meeting for the Historic District Commission on April 26th, 2021 at 7:03 p.m. And for the purposes of the recording and the minutes, could we please identify ourselves? I'm Tom Boyle.
Susan Cartledge.
Eric Berg.
Carol Snow.
Dave Anderson.
So I can't hear Tom and Eric very well.
It's probably because I look down sometimes when I'm reading something. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, it's because I do this. So I will try very hard to look at the microphone. So mostly tonight we have demolition delays. I have a couple things that, you know, we should probably discuss, but I think we should just get right into it. So I'm chairing the meeting tonight. John Lind is not here, and the first demolition delay on the list is 722 Durham Road, and that is a house built in 1790. Approximately, according to the delay thing, about just under 2,000 square feet. I know for a fact that the house is not in good condition. I know of it from previous, you know, views and so forth. And I know that the applicant recently purchased the house, and they are an adjacent property owner. So as I mentioned to Dave before the meeting started, this delay came in right at the end of the last period, so we couldn't get it on it wouldn't have been on the last meeting, even though we didn't have one. Had it been on, we would have had a meeting. So if we're going to do anything with this, it's got to be done within like 5 or 6 days. You know, I'm not quite sure. In any case, when you scroll through the photos, it's right on the road.
Right.
It's not in good shape. I've been by it several times. And then there's a letter in there that indicates, I'm going to just read it, just if everybody can't see it. Given the age of the house, 2 historic preservation contractors were contracted to determine whether it was of any value to restore. Both contractors felt that due to multiple renovations, the house had no value. Joe DeRisi of Urban Miners, Hamden, Connecticut, has been removing interior flooring and wall boards for salvage. Well, that kind of destroys the idea of putting in demolition delay, because that's what, of course, we would like to do if we can't decide, if we're going to decide we're going to delay, we're going to put a delay in, and we'd like to do anything with this house. So given that, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think.
Well, I drove by it, and really, as you said, it's on the edge of the road. It almost looks like it's going to topple right over into the road. So
Yeah, so does mine.
Yeah, I've looked at it too, and it's sad to lose an 18th century building, but I don't see that it's worth saving.
Eric?
I agree.
Okay. I agree too, but I mostly agree because there can't be anything left in there now since they've already started to gut the darn thing. So
Yeah.
there's really no point in doing much with it. And again, I agree with Carol. I hate to lose old houses, and especially one in the 1700s like that. So I'll call for a motion now.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of taking no action on the demolition delay for 722 Durham Road?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. And we'll move on. So let's see if I can find the next one. Here we go. So the next one is 132 Twin Coves. Give me a sec. I can pull it up because I don't know anything about this one.
Well, I drove by all of
Yeah, you
them
guys start
today.
because I'll pull it up. Go ahead.
I drove by all 4 of them today, and that one is really right on the water, a very insignificant looking cape. Of course, if that's down, there are other small houses behind it. So I guess they're doomed as far as ever having any view of the water, but that's not up to us.
Right. I've got Kelsey Place. I've got everything but this one. Is it right on the water, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to pull it up on Vision just so
There's another house sort of kitty corner to it, but when you go by the driveway, I mean, if you're not careful, it's a boat ramp. I mean, not even a ramp, you just drive right into the water.
I understand.
You're right at the end of the road.
Mm. Yeah, the real end of the road.
It's ringing a bell for me, so, oh yeah. Oh no, it's not the one I thought. I was in it, I think, years ago. So it's another one of these deals. It's a waterfront house. It's easier for them to demolish it than to do anything else with it. And they'll probably build something else quite significant there. I don't think there's much we can do here unless somebody else has a different idea.
Now, what's over to the side of it on the water? I always knew of it as the Mulligan's house, that great big huge house.
Oh, is that close?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. Of course, it doesn't really help us much. Yeah, okay. This is a house built in, wow, 1953. Huh. You know, there's actually, it is waterfront, but there actually is an association beach in front of it. So it's not like true waterfront like some
Right.
of
Yep.
them might be. But in any case, I don't have any strong feeling about this at all.
Neither do I.
Okay.
No.
All right. Can I get a motion for that one?
So move.
Okay, so all in favor of taking no action on the demolition delay for 132 Twin Coves Road, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous, and we'll move on. The next one is 110 Bradley Road. Here we go.
I didn't even know that existed because there was the the laundromat and that other little
Oh, yeah,
house, and then
little
this
tiny
one. I
house.
thought, oh, I didn't even see you.
It's fascinating. If you go drive down Bradley Road, you see a little tiny cottage next to the
Hearth.
which
The hearth.
the
Yeah.
hearth, right, on one side, and I guess the cleaners, which is probably on this thing too, on the other side. And I know for a fact that the developer of the hearth tried for years to buy this property, and then he never could. They wouldn't sell it to him, I guess. And anyway, here we are, and I mean, you know, obviously, it seems to me anyway that a better use for that piece of land is something other than that tiny little house. But I'm more than willing to listen to anybody that wants to talk about it.
So is the Hearth going to buy it now?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh.
The applicant is, I don't believe so. I think it's
Dave, can we
applicant
talk?
is Gerald
Are we
Davis,
allowed to?
so, no.
Yeah, you can mention what the Planning and Zoning Commission approved.
Yeah, so it's been before planning and zoning. It's a project by Jerry Davis to build an apartment building, and it's combining 2 lots there.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a much better use of the space.
Mhm.
Gus, didn't we discuss this a meeting or two ago?
We discussed, I think, the buildings next door to this.
Yeah,
Also, this is another apartment situation?
No,
or
it's the
they're
same.
The same.
He's combining 2 lots, and there's several
Okay.
buildings.
Okay.
So this is the last, I think the last one that he'll be requesting to demolish.
was the first one the cleaners?
Yeah,
Am I right about that? Okay. Yeah,
think
so he's
yeah.
combining those 2 lots. He wants to put in a big apartment building. It probably is a better idea for that stretch of Bradley Road anyway. I myself don't see any, I don't see any real problem here. I didn't look at the house itself, though. I probably should.
there is no architectural reason to keep it, I don't think, historically.
Then I won't even bother. Okay, so I need a motion on this one. I'm sorry, anybody else want to talk about this? Nope.
I move
So,
we take no action.
a second,
Second,
all in favor of taking no action on the demolition delay for 110 Bradley Road, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous, and we move on. I don't know anything about. The next one is 58A Kelsey Place. Oh, I think I do know something about this. Don't I?
So I drove down there too, and I didn't even know that existed. I went down Kelsey Road and it was like 60, and then it went to 8 or 40 or no 30, I guess. And then I thought it was a driveway, and I went in. There's like this little warren of tiny little houses. So I saw both the units. So what was that? Like not a condominium, but why is it numbered like that, Tom?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it happens when there's 2 houses on 1 lot. I don't know if that's the case here.
But there are 4 houses right in a row. It's 38 A, B, C, D.
Oh, I see.
They're not attached.
Okay.
I wonder if one family built them in the
Yeah.
50s.
Yeah, one was 1946, it looks like, so
Mm.
it predates zoning, so maybe.
I think for purposes of this one, oh, it's a different owner. Interesting. I was gonna say to combine them, but maybe we shouldn't. There's different house, different owner, and it does look like it's different lots. So they just ran out of numbers is the reason they went 58A and B. They had 54, 56, 58, and 60, so what were they gonna do? I'm sure that's the reason. I do see that. These are tiny little homes, I'm sure not in great shape. I'm looking at B now. So to go back to A, anybody have anything further to talk about with 58A Kelsey Place?
nope.
Then I'm sure they're both there because they're going to combine those lots. That would be my guess.
Mhm.
Although I didn't look at the applicant. Let me do that. I just want to know what's going on here. The applicant is the owner for 58B.
Oh,
And the applicant is the same person for 58A.
mhm.
So that's what's going to happen is my guess. But it's still going to be a tiny little lot, and I don't know how much of a house they can put on it. In any case, 58A is a 768 square foot cottage. And the other one is about 1,100 square feet, I think. They don't look like they have much to recommend them to me. 58A was purchased in 2004 for $300,000.
Wow.
Interesting. But 04 was It was a high value year. Anyway, I'm sure they have beach rights and they're close to the beach. You can walk to the beach from them. So
Right.
very desirable neighborhood. Anyway, so let's talk about 58A first. Anything further on that one? Okay, then can I get a motion for 58A Kelsey Place?
I move we take no action.
A second?
Second,
All in favor of taking no action on 58A Kelsey Place demolition delay?
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. And now we go to 58B Kelsey Place, which we've already discussed. Is there any further discussion on that property?
No,
I need a motion on that one then.
I make a motion, we take no action.
A second?
Second,
Second.
All those in favor of taking no action on 58B Kelsey Place, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Also unanimous. And I think that is all of the demolition delays.
Tom, I have one addition to make. Sorry, it took me a little while to get the information up, but if we could just maybe put in the record that the 722 Durham Road house, which was 1790, was called the Orrin Foster House. So, you know, it has a name affiliated with it, a family name in Madison, just so we could have that on the record that we're losing another one
Yeah, no, it should be in the
from
minutes,
our
absolutely.
state
Yeah,
survey.
yeah. No, the
So
722
it's
Durham
Orrin,
Road is the one that kind of bothered me the most here.
right?
It seems like the way this worked out, there's not much we can do. And it doesn't seem to be worth it to me to, obviously we've already decided, but it doesn't seem to be worth it to me to do a delay when they've already taken the stuff out of the house.
Right.
But I agree with you, Carol. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just would like to have it, if we could have it in the record that
On the record, yeah.
it's ORRIN is the first name and Foster is the last name.
Okay.
And you know, all these records need to be double checked anyway, but just that's on the state list of historic houses in Madison.
Okay. All right, it's on the record.
Thanks.
I have not reviewed any minutes, so I don't have them here. I think we'll have to put off the reviewing of the minutes till the next meeting. Is there I have a couple things I just wanted to mention, but anybody else have any new business, anything they want to talk about?
Mm-mm.
No,
I have, just, go ahead. Is that anything, was that something, Eric, or?
No,
Okay.
no addition.
I just want to just kind of bring up, for the sake of talking about it, is that I haven't heard a thing about the general's residence since they've started. And I know that John would be the one to receive any information. And I know they haven't started building the main, that structure again, but I just want to stay right on top of that because we really were involved in it and we really did have some, ideas about what should happen and what shouldn't happen. So I just want to make sure that, maybe John will be back on next time and we can talk about it with him.
I can comment a little bit on that, Tom, because I've been communicating with Duo Dickinson about the other houses on that lot, and he was in front of ACA recently to talk about the other units, and he had mentioned that, he is going to be coming back in front of the Historic District Commission to kind of finalize the design really of the general's residence based upon what period everybody agrees is the appropriate period to replicate that building. He didn't give a specific timeline. I think the reality is that they haven't gotten contracts on those units yet, so they're moving forward on the units they have contracts on. But he is, based on the last conversation I have, well aware that he needs to be coming back before this commission to kind of finalize it.
how many units are sold, Dave?
So my understanding is, I believe 7 out of 9 are sold. And if it's not 7, it's 6. So I know they sold all the kind of traditional units. And then there's the carriage house, which is supposed to be a little bit more historic looking, similar to the general's residence. And the general's residence have not sold yet. And that was as a couple weeks ago. Things could have changed. But as of a couple weeks ago, they hadn't sold yet.
Yeah, I looked at that several weeks ago too, and that was my information also, just looking at public records and MLS and stuff to see what is going on there. But yeah, it makes sense that they're gonna obviously build the ones that, on which they have offers first, or contracts first, and then they're gonna wait for the other one. I am most interested, of course, in the actual building of that, of the 2 units that are gonna be taking the place of what the general residence used to be. But I'm glad to hear that,
Yeah, and he, that was kind of unsolicited. He had just mentioned that to ACA just to kind of give them some information. So that was very recent.
yeah, I just wanted to bring it up. I didn't have any indication that wasn't gonna happen.
No, I feel the same way. I'd like to see that promise get delivered upon, 'cause that was very controversial.
Yeah.
So I certainly want to see. you
And I
guys have
can't
enough-
imagine they can sell them unless they have the design done.
Yeah, then maybe that's true. I mean, yeah, it probably details that you guys would notice that the average buyer might not, but
Right.
certainly.
Yeah, they do have floor plans
Yeah.
Mhm.
and so forth, but they don't have, and they do have a, kind of a line drawing of what the outside's gonna look like, but it's not terribly detailed.
Yeah.
And it's open to change. So I know we talked a lot about the size of the windows and that jazz. So, and that is not finalized as far as I know.
Yeah, no, that's
Anyway,
correct.
yeah, I just wanted to bring it up just for everybody's, edification, just so we stay on top of it kind of.
I mean, unless he's keeping the interior to build to suit.
Yeah,
No, but I think, yeah, there are plans, I
Yeah.
think.
Mhm.
there are plans for the interior and layouts.
Yeah, okay.
Whether or not they're gonna
Yeah, I
stay
agree.
that way, I don't know. But I did see them, I actually saw the detail, and they're pretty detailed too. I might have mentioned that the developer asked me to do an appraisal on a couple of those units, just to make sure that they were in the ballpark of what the market values might be, which I did. So I looked at them pretty carefully, and so I just can't wait to see what they're gonna do with that main structure.
So those small units are going for $1 million, aren't they?
In that neighborhood, yep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they look really small.
they're not big. Well, they're around plus or minus
Are they
2,000.
2,000? Yeah.
Yeah, the cap for the regulation is 2,250, so they don't exceed 2,250, and that's excluding the garage space. So some of them are carports, some of them are actual garage space for the single car.
Mhm.
So it excludes that space, but everything else, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Interesting.
and does anyone know what's going on with the Black House? I went by there today. There's no for sale sign anymore.
Haven't
I
heard
don't
a
know.
word.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything recent either.
Right. And so the only other thing I wanted to just mention is that we are short I think just one member for the commission. And so, Susan did indicate that the person that moved into Eileen Banish's house might be interested, so that's good. We could look at that. And then I also mentioned, I may be repeating myself, and I'm sorry if I am, but I also mentioned that anybody who is an alternate now, because I know Eileen was a full member, might want to move up into that membership, make an application to move into that membership slot. It has to go through the same kind of rigmarole that you did when you first got into the commission, but I would urge you to do so if that was
Does it have to be a Republican?
I didn't know. I don't believe so.
What about someone from the Liberty Street Historic District? Is there someone from there that would want to?
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be great. That's a good idea. Yeah, I can, you know what we'll get Peter Clement to reach out over there.
Yeah.
He knows those people. And
Denny Van Loo, I don't know if he has the time, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's probably someone down there that might be
that's
interested.
a very good idea. There's a my across the street neighbor is very interested in historic preservation. And I might just mention it to him. I don't know if he's interested or not, but that would just be another person that is a
Well,
possibility. I just thought of it just this minute.
How would that work? Because I think we have 2 alternates. Carol, are you not?
I'm an
Carol-
alternate, yeah.
Carol's an alternate, and
Oh, you are? I thought when you came back that you were made.
Mm-mm.
nothing
Because
changed.
the slate was full of full members.
Right.
Okay.
And then Eileen left, so that left one opening for a full member. If I'm just doing this out of my top of my head. I'm not,
Mhm.
yeah. So who's the other alternate? Is it Peter?
Yes.
I think it's Peter.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that Carol, you and Peter should fight each other for this, you know?
Susan and Tom, get ready for more sirens coming your way.
No,
Forget them.
a riot. Does anybody have anything else for this meeting?
I just have one thing
Oh,
as
go
a
ahead.
follow-up to that last conversation. So dealing with other boards and commissions, if you guys have a preference about moving an alternate up to a regular member slot, I communicate that in some fashion to the Board of Selectmen. Because sometimes, the different town committees, the Republican Town Committee and the Democratic Town Committee will just try to fill that seat, with whoever expresses interest. So if you guys have either ideas about moving an alternate to a regular member and then filling the alternate slot, I get that. I try to get it ahead of that a little bit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's what I meant by rigmarole.
Yeah.
No, that's fine, and that we absolutely will. So that goes to Dave then.
Because I know that did happen to another committee, and
I'd be happy to be bumped up, but I'd also be happy to have Peter be bumped up if he wants to. And also I'd be open to other new people coming in, obviously.
Yeah.
And Dave, I like your idea of having Liberty Street representation.
yes, that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
I do too. I think it's great.
Maybe if you guys wanted to, you could even vote tonight. I would just say you simply want to move up either Carol or Peter to be determined at a later date. And then, fill an alternate slot, perhaps with someone from the Liberty Street Historic District. And if you can communicate that to me in an email, I'll send it to the First Selectwoman's executive assistant, and that'll get ahead of it a little bit so everybody's aware that that's the desire of the committee.
That's great.
Doesn't really lock
Do
you
all
into
those
anything,
members,
just-
that I have no problem with that. Does everybody else agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Is Peter in the Liberty Street? He is, isn't he?
Yeah,
He-
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tom, can you reach out to Peter? Is that how it would work?
Sure. I'm happy to do that.
And see if he wants to do it.
Yeah, I'll do that, and then we can send you an email, Dave.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay? Yeah, let's see if he wants to first, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can't vote him in if he's not here.
Well, that's the best time.
We can try.
No, that's fine. I will do that, and then I will send you an email, or maybe I'll have John do it. We'll see.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else for this meeting? I don't have anything else. I'm all set. Okay. So I guess we need a motion to. We're not going to do the minutes, so I guess we need a motion to adjourn.
And just clarification before you do that, we're reconvening right away as the Boston Post Road District. Okay, right. So Marlene and I know not to end the meeting.
Yeah, and that won't be a long one, so we'll get you home for dinner.
Perfect.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? So we are adjourned as of 7:29 on April 26th, the Connecticut Historic District Commission. And we are going to move directly into the next meeting, unless anybody needs a break. Okay. So this is now, I'm going to call to order the Old Elm Street Historic District Study Committee at 7:30 p.m. on April the 26th, 2021. And just for purposes of the minutes, could we all identify ourselves? I'm the chair. I'm Tom Boyle.
Susan Cartledge.
Carol Snow.
Eric Berg.
I'm Dave Anderson. That's a good holdover, Tom, by the way. Now that we're on Zoom, everybody's got their name up and everything. So.
Oh yeah, that's something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I did do a quick agenda on this, but really, I really wanted to talk. I have not, I'm going to be real honest, I haven't done a thing with this for probably 18 months. And mostly just, there's no reason that I don't think it's a good idea or I don't want to do it. It's just work keeps getting in the way. The meetings have been sporadic. The last time I went in front of anybody and talked about this was the Historical Society, and got didn't get a negative response in terms of funding, but I didn't get a, yeah, let's write a check kind of thing. So just to bring everybody up to speed as to where we are now, and it's been a while because I haven't done anything with it. And I have some ideas about maybe how we can move forward now. Where we're stuck is writing the final report. And it's going to cost money, and we're going to need some funding options. Given the fact, I'm gonna blab for a while, and then please everybody else come in. But given the fact that when we started this whole thing, and it was like 8 or 9 years ago, believe it or not, or maybe more, I made it very clear to both the Board of Selectmen when we got it going, and to all the members that the members of the historic district, the proposed district, would not be asked to spend any money on this. So given that, we're kind of hamstrung. Doesn't mean we can't go back and ask for some funding from people, but it makes me look bad because I said we're not going to ask you for money, and I can guarantee you that somebody will find a letter that says, well, you told me you weren't going to ask for money. So given that, I mean, my preference to this, and I still think that's very possible, is to have this funded by, it's about $7,000 or $8,000. We did get a couple quotes for someone to write the final report after we decided that it wasn't going to happen for us to do it. My preference would be to have, and we have some history here, have the Historical Society see if they could fund half of it and get the other half from whatever history organization there is out there that would be willing to do it. I have never written a funding proposition, what do you call them? You know what I mean.
A grant application?
Thank you. A grant, see, I don't know what it is even. I don't know what the title is. I have never written a grant application in my life. And so I am woefully inexperienced in this regard. If it's a form, I can fill it out. I fill out forms every day of my life, but I've never done it. So that's something that I'm going to need some help with if we're going to move forward here.
Well, Tom, we talked about, since we became a certified, I forget the exact term, should we not inquire there? Carol, did you make some initial inquiries about that?
Yeah, and actually, Dave, I'm really glad you're here too, because we've talked about having some kind of meeting of stakeholders who might be interested in applying for state grants now that we have the certified local government status. And I think this type of study would certainly qualify, but I think, I don't know, how do you feel, Dave, but it seems to me that it would be good to meet with different groups and members from different organizations and come to an agreement about what priorities there are and how to.
No, I agree, absolutely. I actually had a conversation with Denny Van Loo about it recently, because really related to the Ledges project and the Historical Society's input into that project. I, reminded him of some conversations we had previously where really we need to, my involvement with planning and zoning, I think needs to be informed by some of the thoughts from both the Historic District Commission and the Historic Society on these areas of town that are of sensitive nature and historically significant. And so, I think for that reason, I had recently talked about it, but also I agree for this, it is a conversation worth having. What areas might we want to apply for some funding? And I think this is certainly one of them. So yeah, I'd be definitely interested in participating in that. I don't know who should, it's sometimes difficult for me to be the instigator on everything, but I can if I need to be, or if someone from this group wants to connect with someone from the Historical Society and just get that going, I'm definitely happy to participate.
Tom Boyle might be able to somebody from this.
I know a couple people on that.
And actually, I've been
more than willing to do that.
I've been talking to Henry Griggs about it too, and trying to get him to maybe take the lead to get a group together. But if he's still feeling like he's involved in the library building project perhaps too much to be a lead in it. But so Dave, I think if you don't want to be the instigator, maybe you could identify one of us.
Yeah,
And we could, we could at least make the initial sort of openings and communications and see who wants to be involved and how, or if, like a representative from the Historical Society, whether it's Denny Van Loo or someone else. And also John Lind, I think John is interested in participating. But I think unless somebody actually sort of shakes us all up and says, okay, we're doing this,
right.
and let's have a Zoom meeting on such and such a date so we can discuss priorities. In the meantime, I'm happy to do a little bit more homework about what grants might be available and, how we go about applying for them. If, I don't know if there's any order, like I've been talking about doing a new survey of all the historic properties in town, or hiring someone to do that for us. In the meantime, though, and that would establish, again, I think the old Elm Street historic properties that are worth, that we're interested in saving, as well as the other non-historic properties that are in that area. So I don't know, I don't know in what order we might want to do these different studies, but I do feel like the old Elm Street Historic District has been kind of on hold because of that report. And so in a way, I think that's a higher priority.
Well, in my
That's
opinion,
me
there's
rattling on
a
here.
stopping point right now. We can't really
Yeah.
do much else until
Yeah.
we get that report.
But I think we would need a sort of consensus about it from all the stakeholders. And Dave, I don't know, we talked about like the library and Deacon John Gravehouse and I don't know, the First Congregational Church, we've talked about them as stakeholders in other historic property issues.
Yeah, I actually attended a meeting last week with there's I guess a building and ground subcommittee of the library.
Right.
And Henry Griggs was at that meeting, as well as
Right.
Laura Downs, about the, two other buildings in the library, and they're trying to figure out ways to, reuse those buildings and improve them, so they contribute, to the area. And, Laura Downs, actually, I ran into her today, mentioned that she's starting to put together a little bit of a history of those two buildings. So certainly, I think between Henry and Laura, I think it'd be good to have them at the meeting.
I'm writing down names. So I've got so far Laura Downs, Henry Griggs, can't read the next one, John Lind, somebody from the Historical Society.
Denny Van Loo or someone else, yeah.
Anybody else?
I'm happy to be part of it. I don't know which hat I would be wearing.
Yeah, that's a good question, Carol. I mean, the nice thing is you have really three hats. You've got your current Historic District Commission and Planning and Zoning, and then your former Historical Society. So,
and I applied for the grant and got it.
right. Yeah.
I mean, I did all the, sort of compilation of all the tedious work to get it off the ground. It's got your name on it though, Dave.
No, I give you credit anytime anyone asks me.
No, I know. I'm not asking for credit. I just want to make sure we're including all the right people we need to include.
Yeah, no, I think you'd wear multiple hats on that. I don't think you need to have one allegiance. I think you have a good and your growing knowledge really of planning and zoning, but your involvement with everything else would be real helpful.
Right. The way, I mean, I obviously have to be there because I'm the only one that has all this information of what houses are there and the map and all that jazz.
Yep.
So maybe if I come in as a representative from the study committee and Carol comes in as an interested party from the planning and zoning, I think maybe that's the right way to go. I mean, that's 7 people already that I'm more than happy to reach out to. And then
That'd be great.
and then we could perhaps get, like you said, get a Zoom meeting together. And the purpose of this thing has to be, I'm happy to discuss, what it is and what we'd like to do, but it's really a funding issue.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, anyway.
So, and I'm happy to look into if I can find what grants might be available that would fit.
Yeah, I think it's a funding, in my mind, the broader conversation is not limited to funding. It's, how do we become more proactive and coordinated in our efforts towards historic preservation, really. In terms of how to, certainly the Historic Society communicate areas of importance to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and, that I'm really kind of acting as a go-between between all these different groups. So I think I don't want to limit it to just a funding discussion, because it's really a coordination effort.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't have any problem with that. I mean, I'm only speaking from, selfishly from my own point of view
Right.
in terms of what I want to get done, but absolutely, it's part.
Well, I'll offer to, like I said, I don't want to be the instigator, but I'll offer to host the meeting. So Tom, if you want to reach out to everybody and see if you can, get a date or just general interest,
Yeah.
I can host a Zoom meeting and, kind of take that end of it.
That's great. Yep, I will do that. I will start that right away. In terms of, okay, I mean, that's really where I wanted to, kind of what I wanted to get across, because basically I need help here. We're dead in the water, and I'd like to, there is no lack of my ambition to make this thing happen, but there's a lack of figuring out how to do it.
Mhm.
So this is something that might help a great deal. The other thing is, I haven't done it in a while, but I will, go back and look at, there's been, some sales of houses here, so not all the players are the same. So I can go back and update all that stuff, and I will. What else? I can start new contact efforts. It's not a problem. All the people that really we've contacted in the past, there's always been a very solid majority that are interested in this.
Mhm.
And there've been a few that have not, and that hasn't changed. So I mean, that's where it's gonna. I don't think that will change, honestly. So yeah, I think that's great. That helps me a lot, because it gives me some focus on kind of what to do next, which is what I've been looking for. And sadly, in my own what I've been trying to do, I haven't had that in a while, so that'll help. And then I can continue doing what I've always done, which is figuring out who these houses are, who these people are, and how we can get them on board with it, which is really the other very important part of the historic of the.
Tom, could you remind me of the boundaries of the district and how many properties are in there? I don't.
Just roughly, I can tell you, sure, it's about 55 properties. It goes from, it starts at basically West Cemetery on the north side, and
Yeah.
goes down to that salmon colored house on the north side, right at the end of Mungertown.
Okay.
It's a little bit farther, and the first house is Travis Schulich's house, which he's selling, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That would be the first one on the south side, and then it comes up past my house to, right now it comes to the country club's house, that little brick house
Okay.
on the south side.
Okay.
That'd be easy to chop off if we needed to, and then it would be Eric Axberg's house. So
Okay.
he's a member of ours.
So it includes those properties like the Winter Club and the deli and all those properties as well? Okay.
And they've been contacted many times, the Winter Club had some slight, we're not sure. And Schoolhouse Deli really had nothing bad to say about it, but it does include those for sure. It includes town properties. It includes at least the front of what used to be Strong Field. Now it's
Right.
Lowry.
Right.
And it includes the fairway of the country club coming up, on the south side. And the rest of it is pretty much just residences,
Right.
And it's a mix. I mean, there's a majority of older homes in this district, but there are certainly some newer homes
Mhm.
and, homes that you wouldn't necessarily consider historic. But some of those people have been very, very certainly amenable to this deal, So that's where we are. But I can send you all the stuff. I mean, I have loads of.
Yeah, I might have it in the files. I just, like you said, we haven't talked about it much, so I haven't looked at it very recently. I do remember, though, still have PTSD from some of the hearings about the Liberty Street Historic District. That was
Me too. Yeah.
one of those was literally one of the more contentious meetings I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, and that's actually what I want desperately to avoid when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Because I really want to have everybody on board, and if not, figure out a way to make this happen without that. Because
Right.
they went from, I don't know, 30 or 40 properties to like 7.
Yeah.
you know, and it's hardly a district. So I mean, they made it happen, but that would be like, you know, be easy for me to get the 4 houses surrounding me for it, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Right.
Yes, I have the same PTSD, so I understand. In any case, yeah, I'll send you a few things just to remind you.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, and then I will, you know, get some contact info for these people. I know all of them, or I know of them, and if I don't know them, my wife knows them, so it's not any problem that way. And sure, I think that'll give me a little focus to get moving on this again. Sure. Let's see. There's nothing else on the agenda. There's nothing else I can think of regarding. Oh, there is one important thing that I'm sure our approval has expired from the town, so I have to get that moving again. So it's a matter of just telling them where we are and saying, you know, we just want to reinstate your permission to continue the study committee.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure it's expired. I haven't done a thing with it.
Is that through the Board of Selectmen, Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to go to the Board of Selectmen. They've never said no, and I can't believe they would.
So my experience with the first select woman is she seems to be in tune with historic preservation. So I think you'll definitely get support from her
Oh, good.
specifically.
Yeah.
The only thing is you may get a question of, because of this Ledges project, you may get a question of, have you guys looked at that area for possible district status? I won't be surprised if you get that question.
Right. That's actually a question for the historic district, not for me, because
Right, yeah, correct, yeah.
because and that's how I would answer it. I think certainly the historic district has looked at that, but we haven't done anything with it, you know. Yeah, that would be an entirely new ball can of worms.
Yeah, but I think we have talked about expanding east on the post road from town.
Yeah, and I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right about that. I'm sure that.
Yeah, I would just be prepared for somebody to ask that question.
Yeah, and I can figure out. Thank you for reminding me though, so I can come up with an answer before it's asked. That's a good idea. Anyway, so that's one thing I will do in the next month or so is make sure that we're reinstated in terms of actually being a legal study group, which I'm not in the least bit concerned will happen. It's just, I'm sure we're not now. I'm sure because it only goes for 2 years at a time, as I recall. Yeah, it is 2 years at a time, and I know it was at least 3 years ago when I last got it. So that's the only other thing that I have to do right away. So I have 2 jobs here, and I will start to get together the members. And if you have another idea of anybody else too, let me know. But I think this is a pretty good core group of people to start with. And I will do that, and I will get going on either the next Board of Selectmen meeting or the one after that, and try to get our study committee reinstated.
I guess a question just regarding the group, is there any need to have someone from like Charlotte Everett Archives? Is that a
That's
different
actually a good
representative?
No, that's a very good idea.
Is there anybody particular that would be?
Let me ask my wife. She knows them better than I do.
Bob Gerard might be interested.
Got it.
Because I think, at least in my time, this would be the first time that we've all gotten together for just even a discussion. So we wouldn't want to leave anybody out.
Absolutely, and you're correct. We probably should have done this long ago, but it's a very good idea to do it this way and get kind of people on board with it and give it the impetus that it kind of needs.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I've got, I don't know who at Charlotte Everett at the archives would be the person, but probably the head. But I'll ask Doe, she'll know. Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good start. I was ready to throw in the towel here, but now you've given me a new life. So,
I'll let you.
so that's I'm glad that.
Well, I tell you what, if Carol works her magic like she did with the certified local government application, which was also, dormant. Maybe.
Yeah, we got it made. It's
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's the beauty of being semi-retired. If I were working my old job, I wouldn't offer any of this.
Got it. And we're so happy. Okay. Anything else that anybody wants to talk about regarding the Old Elm Street Historic District Study Committee? I have my work cut out for me, so I know where I'm going. And Carol, you said you were gonna,
I'll
Yeah,
check
check-
what I can
check
find
right
out.
there.
Yep.
and then I'm gonna find jobs for everybody else too. I don't know what they are yet. All right, very good. So do I need a motion to adjourn this meeting, I think.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
aye.
Bye.
Old Elm Street Historic District Study Committee is adjourned as of 7:51 on April 26th. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, and I think
you.
that I need to go purchase a new lamp for Tom's office because I'm fading into the black here.
Oh, you mean your Tom?
Yeah,
Oh,
The days are getting longer, Susan.
right.
we'll
Thank
chip
you.
in. We'll get you one. Good night, everybody. Enjoy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Dave.